Bam, bam, bam.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Morning.
I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. I know Commissioner Dunlap is on the way. So let's start with introductions, starting with our clerks, the board, and we have a lot of staff, so we'll do the manager and the executive team. We'll start with you, Madam Clerk.
Good morning. I am Christine Smith, clerk to the board. Welcome.
Good morning. I am Marlissa Easton, Deputy Clerk to the Board.
Good morning. I am Mecklenburg County Commissioner Elaine Powell, representing Huntersville, Davidson, Cornelius, and North Charlotte in District 1.
Good morning, I'm Laura Meyer, and I represent District 5.
Good morning, I'm Susan Rodriguez McDowell, elected by the people of District 6.
Good morning, my name is Lee Altman, County Commissioner serving at large, and I also have the privilege of serving as Vice Chair. Welcome.
Good morning again, everyone. My name is Mark Jarrell. I've been elected by the people of District 4. Also have the privilege of serving as chair of the board.
Good morning and welcome to this beautiful crowd this morning. My name's Arthur Griffin, and I have the pleasure of serving as a county commissioner at large.
Good morning. My name is Vilma D. Leak, and I represent the most powerful district in the county. And it's good to see you this morning, especially staff. My question to the chairman, why did we have to be here at 9 o'clock? What about 10 o'clock?
I tried to make it 8 o'clock, but I got nixed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But thank you, staff, for being here.
Good
Can't
morning.
make it without you.
Good morning. My name is Yvette Townsend Ingram, and I serve you at large on the County Commission. Welcome to everybody.
Good morning, Tyrone Wade, County Attorney.
Good morning, Dina Diorio, County Manager.
Morning, Mike Bryant, incoming county manager. Good morning, Anthony Troutman, deputy county manager.
Good morning, Leslie Johnson, Deputy County Manager.
See Mr. Ramos.
Late.
No sneaking in here.
Eric Ramos, Deputy County Manager, Chief of Staff.
All right. Did we get everyone on the executive team? Got everybody? All right. George, you want to introduce yourself, please, sir?
George Dunlap, elected by the people of District 3.
Thank you. Before I turn it over to the manager, a couple things that I want to say. One, I want to say, as Commissioner Leak indicated, thank you to staff for your hard work on this, on the recommended budget. I want to remind my colleagues at this time, the budget is actually ours. Today is not debate day. Today is decision day. So I know that there will be motions that will be made. We'll vote those motions up or down. If people need clarifying questions, I get it. But today's not the day for statements and the pontification. Today's the day to make decisions. I want to thank my colleagues for the hard work that's been going on behind the scenes. This has been a very difficult budget for the majority of us since we've been here. And there are some very difficult decisions that we have to make. When we get to some of these items where motions will be made, I am going to slow it down to make sure that we are crystal clear on what we're trying to accomplish and what we're doing. So, but I think the majority of the budget we should be able to rock through, but there are probably 4 or 5 items that will require us to take some time. We were not going to do the normal 3 minutes. It'll probably be onesies and twosies at best. Also, as we are moving through this, I know that there are going to be a few no's. I will give you some extra runway so that you can really make sure that your point is made around why you may be voting no on a particular item. But other than that, again, clarifying questions and voting up or down. So I hope everyone is clear on that. And at this time, I'm happy to turn it over to our county manager, Dina Diorio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we begin the straw vote, I do have a few words I want to say and a few things that I would like to stress. This budget is a delicate balance between protecting critical services, reducing spending in non-mandated areas, strategic service expansions, and mitigating a tax increase to the extent possible. The reduction to nonprofit organizations is long overdue. While we have asked our departments to reduce spending each and every year, totaling $218 million since 2015, we have not required our nonprofit partners to do the same. Each reduction is based on either data, performance, redundancy to other county programs, or underutilization. Mecklenburg County provides funding for 169 nonprofit programs totaling over $61 million. Those organizations subject to funding reductions were disappointed by my recommendation. However, the vast majority chose to accept the recommendation with dignity and grace. There are those, however, who believe that advocacy will win the day, and those are the ones that are getting the attention of the board as we begin the straw vote process. Approximately 42 organizations were impacted, yet less than 5 are getting that second look. Budget decisions should not be based on who advocates the loudest. Picking winners and losers based on who advocates the loudest instead of looking at the rationale is not in the best interest of those we serve, and it does not hold organizations accountable for results. I do want to specifically mention Roof Above. I want to be crystal clear. There is not a recommendation to cut funding to the Giles Center. That program is funded by ARPA, and that contract ends in April 2026. Each organization that received ARPA funding understood that it is time limited, and each were told they needed to have a sustainability plan in place. In my opinion, advocating loudly is not a sustainability plan. In addition, to stand before you and represent that funding has been cut is disingenuous at best. As Commissioner Jarrell stated at our meeting on May 22nd, I delivered the budget that you asked me to deliver. At our budget retreat in January, you all raised your hands and directed me, in quotes, to cut deep to help mitigate a tax increase. I was clear at that time that the cuts would come primarily to nonprofit organizations, as county departments have cut as much as they could. There were no surprises in this recommended budget. Finally, as your new county manager gets ready to take the helm, trust is of utmost importance. When you unanimously give direction to the manager must trust that the board will honor that and do what they say they're going to do. Without that trust, the manager could lose credibility in the community, and his ability to lead will be impacted. So I ask that you take all of this into consideration as you move through the straw vote process. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Okay. So with that, I think, Adrian, are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you, County Manager DiOrio, Chairman Jarrell, members of the board. So before we begin, I do want to go over and review the process as well as demonstrate our straw vote workbook. At your seat, what you will find is a printout of all the responses that were provided to the board to your follow-up questions, as well as the straw vote workbook itself, so you can reference it as we go. Here is the straw vote process. The first step is when a board member makes a motion to change the recommended budget. An increase in any ongoing cost would also require a decrease to avoid a tax rate increase. Following the motion, the board can discuss and ask clarifying questions. When the straw vote is taken, it does not require a second. However, I do want to point out that if a substitute motion is made, then a second is required. If approved, if the straw vote is approved by a majority, we will reflect that on our workbook, and we will show you the impact to the budget and to the tax rate. Once all the decisions are finished, the final action is to direct staff to draft a budget ordinance for the board to adopt on June 3rd. So at this point, I want to demonstrate the workbook, and I'm asking Lyden if he would pull that up. And so here's our straw vote workbook. At the very top, you can see the total expenses, the final county dollar expenses, the fund balance that's allocated, and the tax rate. For demonstration purpose, Lyden, can you add $3 million to CPC operating? And you can see here the impact on the total expense, the impact on the county dollars, and the impact on the tax rate. So if you'll take that out. The workbook is broken into sections. The first section that we have is for education for CMS and CPC. After that, beginning on page 3, we have a section for the debt service, And then we have all the county services beginning on page 4. And then finally, on page 18 of your packet, you have a list of all the things that are funded with fund balance. So Lon, if you'll go back to the main tab, we're ready to begin whenever you're ready.
So just for clarification, Adrian. When we get through each section, that's when we'll take the vote.
You will take a vote with each proposal to change it.
Only the proposal will change. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Can I just ask, could you do that demonstration again? Because it was a little fast for the change. And does it show the .97?
So what you see here is at the very top. Do you see the numbers that are in the green font? That $3 million increased the total expense by $3 million. It increased the county dollars by $3 million, and it requires an increase to the tax rate of 0.1 cent, bringing that to 49.37. Now, Lon, if you'll take that out, now what you see is no change and the recommended tax rate of 49.27.
Okay. So nowhere do we see like the .96?
0.96. We can calculate that, but the 2025 tax rate is 48.31, and the recommended rate is 49.27.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions right now?
All right, would you like to begin with education?
Yes.
First section. Line, if you'll go to the education page. This is on, I believe this is page 2 of what you have in your packets. You have a budget for CMS and for CPC.
Are you making a motion to change something?
Let's see how it works.
Okay. So right now, you're looking for if anybody wants to change anything.
That's
So
correct.
just so colleagues understand what's happening, if someone is making a recommendation to make a change, let me know, and I'll recognize you. Commissioner Griffin.
On the capital maintenance, Adrian, can you take $10 million out of the recommended piece that gets us back to the 22, what happened in 2025, and see what that looks like?
So reducing the ongoing funding for capital maintenance by $10 million, is that?
Yeah, it gets it back to 2025, where it's 22,960.
We can do that if that's the pleasure.
Oh, they have to get a vote on that?
Right.
Oh, okay, all right.
All right, so we'll take
I
that as a
gotcha.
motion. It does not require a second. And so but do we have to take a vote, and he's just asking to make so we could see the change?
That's what we'd prefer. We can demonstrate it.
Is it possible just to demonstrate something like that without us taking a vote?
There is. If you want to do a whole lot of changes, we'd prefer a vote so we don't get down the path of making a bunch of changes that don't have votes on them.
Okay.
So do you want to?
Well, we don't have to take a vote.
Sure.
Yeah, we
All right, we'll move on then.
keep rolling,
We'll move on.
keep rolling.
Are there proposed changes to CMS or CPCC? Going once.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of CPCC and CMS.
All right, it's been moved. Is there any unreadiness? Commissioner Leek, 1 minute.
I thought you said you weren't going to time us.
No, I did say we were going to time. It'll be 1 minute.
My question, if it's in order, is the supplement for the teachers. Where is that?
So that is reference number 1, the $8,066,000.
That's for the teachers.
That's correct.
Can you say to me what it would come to by person? Is it by new teachers or senior teachers?
No, I can't tell you by person. The supplement is to increase the overall county supplement by 5%.
For everybody,
It's for teachers.
just teachers?
That's my understanding.
And my next, to hurry up with my minutes, 1 minute. When you talk about certified teachers, and they're not teaching, but they're in an administrative position,
Finish the question, Commissioner Lee.
that's my question. They're certified as national certified teachers, but they're administrative branch of the school system.
So Commissioner, you're correct. These are for certified positions.
Yes.
And so I don't know the split of how many certified positions may be doing some function in the classroom other than teaching. I don't know that split.
Thank you so much.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay. The next section on page 3, this is the debt service fund, and this is a balanced fund funded with 11.3757 cents on the tax rate.
So,
If
Mr.
there's-
Chairman, do you need a motion to approve? Okay.
We don't need a motion to approve. We don't have to have a motion to
That's right.
approve. Right.
Let me know if you're ready to move on.
I'm not. I think we have 2 questions, one from Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell, then Commissioner Powell. 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On line item 15, I would like to make a motion that we change the wording to say land acquisition for ELAP.
Second.
All right, it's been moved. Second is not needed, but it is seconded. Any unreadiness for that?
Question.
Commissioner Dunlap.
The way it's written allows flexibility in purchasing the land and for what purpose. And so I want to understand why we would want to restrict that. I know we do that because we're trying to get more park and rec land, but why would we restrict CMS's use of land?
So, Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell, can you explain why you're making your motion, please?
Because the purpose of the $30 million is intended for ELAP, and it's been verbally stated, but it isn't in writing. So it's not for CMS, it's for ELAP.
Commissioner Powell.
Exact same reasoning. You know, there was verbal conversation in our meeting that this is intended for the Environmental Leadership Action Plan. That is what we're going in with the belief of, and it's my understanding that we had to be clear.
Speak in the mic, please.
It's my understanding we had to be clear about it. So for clarity, we'd like to have it for ELAP.
So let me ask you a question. Well, go ahead, Commissioner Griffin.
I want to ask the manager a question.
Right.
In terms of land acquisition, Madam Manager, is that only for Park and Rec, or is that for county, not just the schools, but also for CRC purchase land or whatever? Is that the
Well,
only?
it's not for schools. Let me first say that. I mean, I think the intent was always that it be for open space, land acquisition for open space and parks. But what I will say, it doesn't, just because you name it that, doesn't preclude the board in the future from changing that decision. I mean, it's not binding, so you can change it here, but in the future, if the board decides they want to go in a different direction, you can always vote to do something different.
Okay. All right, let's take this vote, guys. All those in favor, let's see by show of hands. All opposed? That's 5-4, Madam Clerk. Capture it.
Which one you won?
I
can't see all the hands.
I'm sorry, 5-4 for the change to ELAP.
Thank you.
So it passed.
So it passed. Your motion passes, Commissioner.
All right.
Any other changes on this one? Okay. Ready to go, Adrian.
All right, so in the next section, that begins on page 4, These are all of the county services. And this section goes through the majority of the book to page 18. So from page 4 to page 17.
So we'll make sure everybody has time to go through these. So just take a few minutes to go through. It's a lot of pages.
And I'll say the last section that follows this in our workbook is just fund balance specific.
Right.
So, Mr. Chair, can I get an explanation for the reduction in children's services and adult services?
That's item 44, 41 and 44.
Yeah.
Adrian, will you speak to that, please?
Let me see if I can align that with the other reductions that we made.
I want to be sure. I want to be sure, but I thought that had something to do with the non-use of funds.
Right. So there is some reduction, and staff make sure if I'm not doing this correctly. There is a reduction for foster care support programs due to underutilization. This was $350,000. I believe that's what you're seeing there.
Okay.
Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
I have a motion to make on page 8.
Page 8. Okay. Before we get to you, Commissioner, let me come back to you in just one second. Are there any other changes prior to page 8? Commissioner Altman.
Thank you. Actually, just a point of clarity. I'm looking for the key for the color coordination, and I might be missing it, but if it's not there, can you remind us what the different colors represent?
Yes, I can. So the red services refer to those services that the amount is restricted, so you have to fund it at a certain amount, and you actually have to do the program. The purple services refer to programs that you don't necessarily have to do, but if you do them, the amount is specific in the budget. There's very few of those, but those are things like if you have an economic development or something like that where you have got a specific amount that if you do it, you have to fund it. The blue, which makes up the majority of our services, refer to things that you have to do, but there's flexibility in terms of what amount you appropriate to those. And then the green is where you have the maximum amount of flexibility. You can choose not to do them or to do them, and the amount that you dedicate to those is flexible as well. So those are things like libraries and parks and that sort of thing.
Thank you.
Let me come back to Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell. Which number were you addressing?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually have two items, and it's item number 123. So I have two motions. The first one is to add the $109,239 that was listed on our sheet as the court officials operating budget reduction. I spoke with Adrian earlier, and he said that a reference number 123 would probably be the proper place, but if it's not, they would be able to adjust it to put it under the right number. But that looks like the right one.
Right.
Okay, so it's a motion for $109,239 added back to the court officials operating budget reduction. And I'm making this motion because I believe that our courts are already extremely underfunded, and I think that we need to serve the people of Mecklenburg County in this area. The court delays and proceedings are terrible, and we just need to not be cutting in this area.
Okay. We've got a couple clarifying
Need a
questions.
second?
No, you don't need a second on that. Commissioner Altman.
Thank you. And I think we'll be saying quite a lot this morning that everything the county funds, I believe deeply in. So anything that we cut is something that I have pangs about. But so the question is not, is it valuable? Is it needed? Because that's definitely true. But why, Madam Manager, did you make this recommendation? Can you explain that?
So this was related to the fine collection program, which is a state program that we fund on behalf of the state of North Carolina. And so that was the primary reason we cut it. In addition to that, the contract that we have with the court officials, they turn back hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year. And this year, I think it's projected to be about 800,000.
Yeah, it's over 800,000.
That's so, I mean, while we say that we need to fund them, they don't spend the money we give them. And so that is the reason we cut it. So you're really not solving anything by doing that.
So wait, I understand the second part of your answer, but I don't understand the first.
Do you want to talk about fine collection
I
program?
do. So there are two reductions.
That was going to be my second one. So I was separating them because they're separated on our sheet,
Okay.
but that one was for $196,045. That was the fine collection.
Well, I'll speak to both of these. So first, the 196,045 is for fine collections. And fine collection is the responsibility of the state. There were some positions several years ago that the county provided to the state to help them with fine collection. And because this was a state responsibility, it was recommended for reduction. The other amount, the 109,239, is because in looking at the contracts that we have with our partners at the state, we realize there is funding in CJS's budget for operating. This is like training and other supplies that they may need. There is also funding that is in the contract for each of those positions. So it was a duplication of funding.
Okay, let me go to Commissioner Townsend Ingram, please.
Okay, two questions.
I got you.
The revenue from that fine collection, does it go back to the state or does it come to Mecklenburg County?
It goes to the state. Fines and forfeitures have to be, all of the fines from the courts have to go to the state. They help to support the state's operation of the courts. A portion of what you pay when you go to the courts does help the county support the building of the courts, and some of it goes to the schools, which is the fines and forfeitures.
Second question is, do they have privy to reallocate those funds, or is it basically just what we designate?
They absolutely do have flexibility. A few years ago, because we were noticing that amount of turnback, we made sure that the courts knew that they could use these funds as they best needed. So that was to try to limit the amount of turnback funds.
Okay, then I support the motion.
Thank you. Let me go to Commissioner Leek, then I'm coming back to Commissioner Meyer.
Number 56. Senior-
Hold on one second, Commissioner Leek. We're on 123 first. I'll come back to you. Let's take care of this 123 first.
That'll be
and then we'll
fine.
go back to
That's good.
56. Commissioner Meyer.
Did you say $800,000 was turned back?
Yes.
And did you just say that they can do anything they want to do with that, but they turned it back anyway?
Yes.
That is the intent, yes. That's what we've tried to provide that flexibility.
Line up with the letter.
They couldn't.
Okay.
That doesn't-
So the only clarifying question that I have, let's just say, Madam Manager, that they wind up spending and needing more money. There's nothing that stops them from coming to the board saying, hey, can you help?
That's correct.
That's correct, right. So let's take this vote, guys. All those in favor, let's see by show of hands. All those in favor of the motion, let's see by show of hands. All those opposed, let's see by show of hands. So motion fails. That was 123. Commissioner Lee, give me 1 second because there was
Yes.
another
That's
one
good.
tied to this that I think Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell wanted to address.
Well, that was, I think we sort of, I mean, the 19605, we also discussed it
Okay.
in that, and so I guess
Okay.
that's also going to fail, so.
Okay.
Excuse me. So when you're stating the line item, if you could just state what that title is with the line item while I'm, thank you.
Okay. Do you want me to say that right now? Or?
I looked up, but
Okay.
I have to do that, so.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for that. Let me turn to Commissioner Leak.
56, Senior Citizens Nutrition Program. Why was that cut back? On page 5.
Let me look and see. I don't believe that we did do a reduction to senior citizens nutrition. We have the same, it's at the same level as it was.
I can't hear you, son.
There was not a reduction to senior nutrition.
I think that what's confusing is that there's the total amount and then there's the county amount. And so a portion of that, it looks like a reduction, but really a part of that is coming from federal dollars.
Okay.
So what you're seeing in the county line is the county dollar number of what county dollars are allocated to that program. So there's no reduction. A portion of it's being funded from a different source.
So if we don't get the federal funding, we won't have it.
Well, that's a true statement. We will have a reduction if we do not get that federal funding.
If we do not get the federal
Correct.
funding. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Adrian, this ended at what page?
So this ended, let me confirm, this ends on page 17. And on, beginning on page 18 is where we have just fund balance.
Fund balance, yeah. So let's take a few more minutes to go through the rest of the pages. Commissioner Meyer, did you have something?
What page did she say? Page
I'm looking at Prospera. Are you going to handle that later?
I am going to handle that later. Yes.
17.
17 at the end. Did she call a number?
No, she was looking at 132, but that's going to be addressed later when we get to fund balance issues.
I do have a question.
Commissioner Meyer.
On 9, under number 145, for example, it says total recommendation is 275, but nothing from county. How,
She's going back to one.
So what you're seeing there is for the services, 141 through 146, these were tourism and events. And the county does receive a small portion of hotel motel tax or tourism tax, and it has to be used for tourism activities. And so we've aligned it to these services, and you can see the result on the county dollars there in the very last column.
and how much have we received for this budget for tourism dollars?
So what we have for 2026 is $2,365,765 is our estimate.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Griffin.
Just to reiterate a question I asked earlier, if we can get some historical information about that.
I think he provided that in the
Okay.
follow-up answers, did you not?
We did. So we have a 3-year historical, and I'll give you the
That's in the
front
most
page.
recent one you sent out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, if you look
All
on
right.
page 4 of this handout, these are the combined responses that we've sent out earlier this week. On page 4, you can see 23 through the recommended 26 funding for tourism.
Very good.
Okay. If you guys will just give me a sign if you're good to go. I know you're still going through that, so I'm not rushing, but just let me know if you're okay.
I'm good to go.
You're good to go. All right, one down. Commissioner Meyer?
Sorry. 171 Camino Health Center. Are those restrictive? Do we give that, is it specifically for healthcare, or is that just? Is
Which
it,
one is she talking about?
No, it's for health-related programs.
it's health-related programs?
What number?
What number, Laura?
I'm sorry, 171.
On page 11, 171, this is Camino Health.
and they can't use it for anything else?
No, their contract is specific in terms of what they can use it for.
Okay, thank you.
That's fine. Commissioner Altman.
Madam Manager, why is RAIN HIV early intervention zeroed out?
Adrian, do you have the rationale?
I do.
They didn't use all the money.
So RAIN, 72,555, this was a reduction to this agreement. So RAIN was previously a CSG, it became a vendor. In 2024, RAIN served 45 unduplicated applicants out of the target of 85. The program provides HIV testing, case management, and promotion of PrEP. The reduction to RAIN was based on performance indicating underutilization of the service.
If I may ask, Dr. Washington, how does our overall ability to deliver these services in-house and continue with PrEP for anybody who needs it and outreach for PrEP? I just want to make sure we are not reducing access in any way. It's okay if it doesn't come through XYZ nonprofit. I just want to make sure the services are there in force.
So this will not result in a reduction of service at all. So RAIN does receive a number of other funding streams from the HIV program, and they will still continue to receive those.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner
follow-up.
Dunlap.
Yeah, I just want to ensure that there's still testing available.
Yes, yeah, so this is actually a specific initiative they started as a part of their CSG application some years ago. Because of the infusion of other HIV resources, they now have other funding streams that mostly federal and state and some county that they receive from us directly. And so really it's just kind of consolidating their funding stream to one. I've talked to Chelsea and there's no, we think that they'll even be able to continue this service without the additional $72,000.
Any other questions related to this while Dr. Washington is making his way back? Commissioner Leek.
Thank you. How many programs are we supporting with mental health?
Commissioner Leek, hold on one second, because I want to stay with RAIN. I want to finish out this thing on, are we finished out with RAIN? Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Leek.
Yes, starting with 170, I think it is. And 171.
So for Commissioner Leek, I don't know the exact number of different programs that we have. We do have.
But they're serving the same programs.
Well, there could be multiple programs that are being funded through that line item.
That's right.
I don't have the detail of that line item in front of me, but it's more than likely more than one program.
More than one? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Dunlap, then Commissioner Meyer.
Well, I'll let Commissioner Meyer go first because I'm ready to move that we adopt the county services.
Okay. Commissioner Meyer.
190 school health services, does that include mental health? Or is that us paying for school nurses?
That's school nurses.
Okay, thank you.
So I do have a question, Adrian, on 193, the WIC, Women's, Infant, and Children. Is that receive additional funding from the federal government? That's why it looks like that big gap.
It does.
So it's not being reduced, essentially.
That's right.
Thank you. Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
One question regarding the Charlotte Sports Foundation. Is that included
Speak to the
under
mic, please.
sports, Charlotte Sports Foundation? The Charlotte Sports Foundation? What line item is that included? Is it 68?
I believe that's 140. So there are a couple different programs. If you're referring to our contribution for the Duke Mayo Bowl, the Duke Mayo Classic, which was a reduction. So if you look at 146, that's where you see the reduction. This is on page 9. You can see the Duke Mayo Bowl 145, and then the ACC Football Championship on 141.
Okay, thank you. I thought that was related to children's sports. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Powell.
What number is medic?
157.
So on, I just want to confirm on the budget, because it's the same.
That is because the $7 million for ambulances and other things is in our fleet reserve.
And I understand that. I just want to make sure that the funding for the study that the firefighters request is in here somewhere. And you said that medic could cover it.
Medic's going to pay for that, so it's not an additional budget item. Remember, this is only the subsidy the county provides. Medic has other funds, and so they will pay for that out of their funding.
Okay, I just want to make sure they have money. Thank you.
Oh, they do.
Thank you.
All right, so I think everybody has had an opportunity to go through. Let me recognize Commissioner Dunlap.
Mr. Chair, I offer a motion that we adopt county services.
It's been moved. Any unreadiness?
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear him.
He made a motion to adopt county services.
Oh, county services, okay.
All those in favor, let's see by show of hands. All right, that is unanimous. Madam Clerk, motion passes.
All right, moving on to section, page 18, you can see all of the fund balance appropriations that are included.
Page what?
Page 18, you can
Thank you.
see all of the appropriations that are recommended with fund balance.
We'll give everybody a minute to go through these. And let's take, before we take any appropriation, any additional fund balance options, let's vote these up or down, and then we'll take the next chunk.
I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Powell.
Typically, in fund balance, we don't have like a recurring budget item. So can you explain the one-time funding to support the new positions for the attorney? It's not just 1 year, correct?
That's correct. That's the one-time expense related to those positions. So when we bring those positions on, there's going to be some one-time costs, make sure they have technology and access to other things.
It's not for their salaries,
It's not
it's
their-
for the cost associated to sort of onboard them.
Thank you.
So their
Thank you.
technology and those.
I appreciate it.
Yes, I'm the motioner then.
You are the motioner today.
Offer a motion that we.
Hold on one second, Commissioner, I'm sorry. Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
Okay, so, because I'm going to plead that this is my first time going through the Stravo process, so
Talk in the mic.
if there is something, for instance, if I wanted to disagree with Crisis Assistance Ministry and cutting it all, did I already miss that chance because I voted
No,
on all of
you
county
haven't.
service?
This is what I'd like to do.
Okay,
This is the manager's recommendations with respect to fund balance. We still have an additional amount available in fund balance that you can make a motion to
okay,
appropriate.
okay.
So, but what I'd like us to do as a board is to vote the manager's recommendations up or down, and then we'll move to the next space where you can do something with respect to making a motion to appropriate additional funds.
So
Does that make sense?
Well, except this, her recommended was to cut. So if I'm not recommending that cut,
It's not.
So that crisis is not part of this list right here.
okay,
And so you can come back, like, what I'd like to do is come back, because there are going to be, we do want to speak to crisis, and there are a couple of other
Okay.
items that people want to speak to as far as appropriating fund balance. So, but I wanted to take the manager's recommendation first.
gotcha.
After we get through that, we'll move forward with additional recommendations from fund balance.
Understood. Thank
Okay,
you.
so you'll have an opportunity to address crisis.
Right, thank you.
Commissioner Leek, and then Commissioner Meyer.
If I'm in order, I'd like to move fund balance allocation.
All right, it's been moved, but we do have an unreadiness. Let me come to Commissioner Meyer.
Who made the motion?
You made the motion,
Oh,
so,
I thought you-
but I still want to get to Commissioner.
All right, thank you.
Can someone explain the Museum of History Revolutionary War exhibit? Having a hard time with that as we're cutting, things like crisis. Can you explain, can you justify it? So I could hear it again?
Sure. So it's an exhibit that will be unique to this region. And so we will be the only museum within a 4-hour radius to have this interactive virtual reality exhibit around the Revolutionary War. And it is anticipated that it'll have a significant economic development impact to our region or to our county, and it is one-time funding. So it doesn't impact the tax rate, but does help support bringing and maintaining this exhibit here in Mecklenburg County. So we think it's an important opportunity for us.
Is there a way do we know what the impact could be? Is there a prediction at all?
I can check and see if I have anything in my notes, but
Has this been anywhere else?
no, it's been nowhere. We're the first in the country to get it, which it makes it even more unique and special for our area.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So I think that should be all the questions. All those in favor of the motion, let's do it by show of hands, please. All opposed?
Oh, opposed.
You're opposed?
I'm opposed to you.
All opposed?
To all of the fund balance.
No, not all. Oh, no, you're
You
right.
didn't
Okay,
make a
so the
motion.
mo,
If you would have made a
okay.
motion, you might have had some support.
All right.
the motion is for everything. So let's do that again so we can make sure that we have this right.
We got
The
it.
motion is to adopt all of the fund balance recommendations. So all those that are in favor, let's see by show of hands. Okay, that's actually unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Leek. Adrian?
All right, so that is the last section that we have. And so at this point, are there any other changes to consider before?
There will be some considerations to change. So we know that staff has recommended to cut funding for certain vendors. And I know that what we can do is, Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell, I know you wanted to address crisis and I think something else, but before I go to you, let me come to Commissioner Dunlap.
Okay.
And then I'll come to you.
Thank you. Adrian, can we go over again what our fund balance is currently and our debt services policy so that we fully understand what's available and what the balance or the implications will be when we take additional monies from fund balance?
Thank you for that.
Yes, we can. So you'll see a chart here off to the side. And what this shows you is what we're projecting our fund balance to be at the end of the fiscal year. $532 million. We have a policy that says we should not spend below 28% of our revenues, and that threshold would be $466.6 million. That gives us $96 million of fund balance. The manager's recommended budget is recommending $30.2 million, and that means there's $66 million remaining before you bump up into that threshold.
Okay, and do you have the historical data to tell you what is the lowest amount we've ever had in fund balance?
I don't have that in front of me. I can tell you that we did look at some numbers earlier that right now, in terms of the year-end fund balance above the 28%, so the amount that's kind of above, this would be, we're at that 96 mark. That is lower than it has been in previous fiscal years going back to 2019. I didn't go back further beyond that.
And so can you tell me what that balance was in 2008?
I can, just not unless I, not from standing right here. I'll have to go back.
And I only point to that because that was the recession,
Right,
and that's when we
right.
had our most critical budget. Dina, you don't remember?
I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
But it prompted a change in policy, I suspect, right? So great point. Let me go to Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Adrian, what is the threshold for the AAA bond rating? Is it 33% or 30?
So those are two different things, and I'll let our finance director speak to the bond rating.
So, David Boyd, CFO. So the rating agencies don't publish hard and fast rules. They look at the totality of your entire financial situation. And one of the things that they look at is fund balance. What I can tell you is that most jurisdictions our size that have a AAA rating have around 30 to 35% fund balance. That is what they happen to have. But there are slight variances in how things are calculated. Some jurisdictions may have different types of revenue streams that are more or less volatile. If you're in a jurisdiction that has a very volatile revenue stream, like you're primarily funded with sales tax, for instance, then they would look to you have a higher amount of fund balance. If you're primarily funded with fund balance, or with property taxes, which are a little more stable, they would say, then you could have perhaps a lower amount of fund balance. So there is no hard and fast number. We can just kind of look at the medians of other larger AAA credits to kind of nestle into that spot.
I'll come back to you.
Thank you. That's really, really helpful. Is there a way that you can tell us when we are down, when we've spent down to what we just voted to, what percentage does that put us? Like, we're not at 28% because that's where the red line is. Where's 30 to 35?
That was my question.
That's a good question. I don't know, Line, do we have that built into this workbook?
It's around, it's around 32, 33%. I mean, we're right at that spot. That's kind of where we landed.
So where the gray bar is, where we've spent down to, you're saying is
That's right.
32?
I'll do the math here.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, while you're doing the math, let me go to Commissioner Powell, Commissioner Meyer, then Commissioner Dunlap.
I really would like for Dina to talk about, what we're anticipating for next year. I feel like this budget was, like you thought through everything, focused on stability of government, but also with caution for next year because of all that you've experienced. And so I was on the Park Commission when we had the devastating financial impact on the county. And so as part of your recommendation speech, you said we haven't cut any staff positions. And I just really want you to talk about, your concerns for not just fiscal year 26, but fiscal year 27.
Well, I think, and again, David can certainly weigh in here as well, but I don't know that we anticipate any significant increases in sales tax in fiscal year 27, just like we didn't experience, we're not projecting them for FY 26. In addition to that, we know that construction has slowed, and so new growth on the property tax side, I think, is going to be fairly limited over the next few years. We don't know what the impact is going to be for cuts at the federal level and how those trickle down to the state and how those trickle down to the local level. And so I think we were very conservative in this FY 26 budget to make sure that you have some flexibility potentially for FY 27 if you need that. So I think there may be some rocky roads ahead. I do.
And this is our emergency fund.
It's our emergency fund.
Yes. And so, for me, I feel like we have to really protect that for what these are such uncertain times. And I just wanted to highlight that we really need to protect it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Meyer.
No, I'll pass for right now.
All right, Commissioner Dunlap, I know, had some comments, but he is, Okay, but I know that staff was doing some math, so why don't we go back to Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell's question with respect to the math?
30.2 is where we end up with that amount of fund balance being used.
30.2%?
That's right.
Isn't that, happens to be the exact same number as the amount we're,
It's coincidental. Mathematical coincidence.
We're not that good.
You good, but not that good?
It's 30.18871.
Okay,
thank you.
that's really good, David. Did you have additional follow-up on? Just go ahead and follow up.
No, I think I'm good. Okay.
Okay.
Just like you had with the workbook, if we are to add, will you tell us where we are percentage-wise on the fund balance? If we
Yeah, but
start adding?
We will do that. Let me demonstrate. So line for sheriff vehicle computers, add, I don't know, $500,000 or $5 million, just pick a number. And so you can see kind of the change on that chart. 5 million barely moves it. Make it 50 million or make it more like, you can see it gets closer and closer. So take that out if you would.
Is that scary?
Everybody's heart stopped.
We demand.
Let me recognize Commissioner Dunlap.
Well, my question was along the same lines as Susan, but I don't know that we actually got there. As it relates to fund balance, I think David said that we were right around 32%.
30.2.
30.2.
30.2%. But that the rating agencies typically see large cities around 35%?
It's a range, 30 to 35.
30 to 35%. So right now, we're technically below that range.
We're right there at the bottom end of that range.
Okay. That was what I was asking.
All right, so I appreciate the clarification on the fund balance because that is going to impact this next portion of where we are because I know that there's some discussion about additional appropriation. So let me start with Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell with crisis assistance because I know that was one thing that you wanted to tee up. So let's take that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to make a motion that we fully fund Crisis Assistance Ministry in the amount that was cut of $792,500.
Okay, so we've got a motion. I know there'll be some discussion. Let me go with Commissioner Dunlap. Commissioner Townsend Ingram, did you have something as well? After Commissioner Dunlap, I'll come to you.
Mr. Chair, I don't know how we do this. I will tell you that I don't want to be picking winners and losers. I had thought that I would give some consideration to changes, but I want to know all of the changes before I vote, because if I vote for one change and then something else comes along that's out of range, is there a way to collect all of the recommended changes so that we see the impact?
Yeah, so to that point, and I'm coming back to you, but let me answer his question. I'm coming to you, Commissioner Griffin. One of the things that I had proposed was everyone that was zeroed out, and I spoke to everyone on the board about this, everyone that was actually eliminated to be able to offer 50%, allow people at least 50% of the amount that was eliminated. One of the things that the manager brought to my attention was there were a couple people on the list that are not even asking, so we don't even need to go through that. But to your point, I think I am ready to be able to go down the list. And I also think at this point, because of how we're doing on time, that it would be good to get clarification on those that were zeroed out. so that we can deal with it that way, make our notes, and then come back, because there'll be a large group that we could say that we might be comfortable with, as opposed to just every single one of them. So,
Can I ask you a clarifying question?
Yes,
So
please.
So you're suggesting to fund these out of fund balance, is that correct?
that is correct.
And so that, just so the organizations know that it is one-time funding?
Yes.
There's no guarantee that in FY '27 it will continue. I just want to make sure that that's out in the public so that they understand that.
Absolutely. And to that point, thank you for that. And also, the one thing that I would like the funding to end at the end of the calendar year, so that we're not dealing with these organizations again for the start of the next budget cycle.
So you're 50%
Would end December 31st, and when we move into the.
2025?
Yeah.
2026?
No, 2025.
Okay, okay.
So that we're not dealing with it moving into the next, there's no run rate going into the next budget cycle, so we're not dealing with this again, because it is it would be a one-time allocation. All bets are off after that. It's for 6 months. It gives everyone time to ramp down. They could make up whatever difference that we don't have, and the board is not dealing with it moving forward.
Okay, I think
Okay.
it's good that that's clear.
Yeah, and thank you for that clarification.
Make sure that's included in the motion
Will
once you
do.
get there. Mr.
Will do. And so we're not there yet. Let me go to Commissioner Townsend Ingram, and then I'll come to Commissioner Griffin.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So in light of what you just intimated about making the change for all of them, and that was my concern about being able to give them a little time to ramp down. So if it's not the percentage, so that's my question, if we're not doing it 50% or half, and then including them for the entire fiscal year to ramp down, are we just giving them 6 months instead of doing that? And that would be, what's the difference between the amount of funding them for 6 months versus funding them, because it would be a prorated fiscal year, basically? Am I understanding correctly, or?
You're probably stating a good question. I'm just not understanding it. Can you restate it so I can make sure I understand? 'Cause
So
I'm suggesting, for some of these organizations, I'm suggesting that they get 50% from their original ask. That 50%, whatever that number is, would end December 31st.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Dunlap.
I think another way of saying that is that you will allocate half of their cut to be spent at any time prior to the end of the year.
That's, okay, perfect.
That's what I was looking at.
I do have a question.
Yes.
So Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell made a motion, and it was Crisis Assistance Ministry.
Yep.
And
right.
so
It's 100%.
if you're talking in totality, do we have to dispose of this motion?
You don't have to vote on that motion.
We don't have to.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. And so what I'd like, that's where I want to take it. What I would like to do is this. I want to go back to what Commissioner Dunlap was saying. I am going to make a motion, but I would like Dina, someone to go through, when I name the organization, if you can just give us some color around why the recommendation was made. I'm going to ask my colleagues just to be patient, because I'm going to go down the list. At that time, I'm going to make some adjustments and then figure out a full package that I want to make a motion on. Commissioner Powell.
So I appreciate this, because we all have our schedule blocked till 5 PM.
Sure.
And we are not in a hurry.
Sure.
So I appreciate this. Thank you.
Yeah. And this was your suggestion from the beginning.
I think it's important.
You know what? It is important. It is important. And so I appreciate you suggesting that, because that wasn't necessarily the way I had it in my mind, but it makes sense to do it this way. So I'm going to start at the top of the list. I'm just going to work my way down. Everyone has this information. Adrian sent it. It's anybody who was a vendor, and it was recommended 0 on this list. A couple of them I'm not going to deal with, though. But Sid Kimmel is the first one. The cut was for $593,400.
Adrian's going to walk you through these.
Okay.
Okay, so for Sid Kimmel, the reduction was $593,400. 75,000 was a program that was provided through DCR for workforce development, and the remainder was behavioral health, and it was reduced because of low performance and low utilization.
When we say low performance, I need to just understand what we're saying.
With this one, we're talking about there were very few participants. They were serving a very few number of people.
Okay. Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
So to me, that goes back to, numbers can tell you one story, but anecdotally,
Oh, dang. Okay. Yeah. No,
when it comes to performance, are we asking them, is it a technical assistance problem? Is it a communications? Because there's no doubt that the services that they provide are kind of undergirding other services, right? Especially the one that included children's mental health. Because that one was boiled down to, okay, they're going to just offer tutoring now, or you're going to allow them to only offer tutoring now through this funding because it was done elsewhere and the mental health services were not.
So Deputy County Manager Trotman had something, and then Commissioner Griffin.
The performance issue that Adrian spoke of was related to the tutoring portion, and the social emotional aspect of the budget, or mental health, wasn't that it was low performing, it was duplicative of the CMS work, because they provide social emotional support to their students as well.
Commissioner Griffin.
When the manager read her piece when we first started, she indicated that we all unanimously raised our hand during the retreat about potential cuts. And I just wanted to clarify a piece that the manager said. I was clear when I said to you, if there are vendors, agencies that were not impactful performance-wise or results, I'd have no problem in terms of raising my hand for a recommendation. That goes true to today. And so with regard to the very first one, you may or may not recall, but my first year I sat in your office and I asked about MEC success. And there was a PowerPoint presentation that Yolanda Griffin put together, and this organization indicated did SEL and tutoring, et cetera. It had a number there, and I said, what was the effect of this? And you shrugged your shoulders. Okay? I wanted to know if there was any positive impact on either of those things. And neither the PowerPoint presentation didn't reflect that. That was almost 2 years ago. Now, I didn't drill down on this particular one, but when you indicated, Adrian, about performance and duplicative services, that's clear to me that that is not as impactful as I would have intended to be. And I wouldn't be in this position right now if we had SMART goals to say this is what this program was intended to do, this is what it did or did not do. What we're doing now is trying to second guess the manager, ourselves, our personal experiences, and do this, which we all have the right to do, and I respect each and every one of us to do that. But for me, this is one that I'm not going to be supportive of.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Let's go to the next one. Again, we're going to go through the list real quick and just get some context. Spark Network LLC.
So, and let me, if I could, speak to the next several, because they're all behavioral health.
That's right.
related.
So it's Spark, Enlivian, Alliance Center for Education
and ARJ. So there are several contracts that our behavioral health department has in order to provide services, and they did their own review of all of their vendors and came back and they provided these reductions based on their assessment. And so that is why we have these reductions as recommended. And then for RJR specifically, the reduction is based upon modification to some of the services that are being received. And the program provides outpatient therapy and counseling for county services, or county residents. But all of the behavioral health contracts were evaluated by our behavioral health division, and this is what they do.
So just one clarifying, I know we're referencing ARJ. The ones that I'm taking up are the ones that are zeroed out.
Yeah.
Not anything else.
I got you.
Just to be clear, Commissioner Altman.
Can you just say which ones they are?
Sure.
Because he took them in a lump, but you didn't actually articulate.
Go ahead.
Yes, so Sid Kimmel was zeroed out. Spartan Network was zeroed out. The Enlivian Behavioral Health Contract, that was zeroed out. And Alliance Center for Education. And then...
Those are all behavioral health ones.
Right, and then there was one more, was the Center for Child Health for $4,800.
Right.
Those were the behavioral health contracts.
Those were all.
Right. And
Do you
so
want to go
just-
through every single one?
Well, I
that was
guess,
zeroed?
just so that you're clear, so the Center for Child Health, that project was completed. So to add
Okay.
50% back for a project that's been completed, there's no project to fund.
Right.
And Livian was the same thing. The program was also completed, so the funding goes away. So I just want to make sure you
So
understand
we're
why
taking
they
those
were.
out. That's why I want to go through them
Yeah.
line by line to get the context, so we can figure out the ones that we may want to deal with. So
Okay.
that's helpful. So Enlivian is zeroed out. Center for Child Health is completed, to your point. What did you say around Spark Network? It was just, this was reviewed by staff,
So due to low client participation and unclear outcomes.
unclear outcomes. Thank you. Alliance Center for Education. What
Low
was-
customer satisfaction scores.
Okay, customer sat. I'm sorry, Commissioner Altman.
Thank you. I'd like to just sort of level set like where I am in this conversation, because a lot of the names that we're talking about are sort of trusted names in the community, and they have provided wonderful services to our residents, and so this may sort of hit people's ears in sort of a jarring way, but I want to say that, I have read every single email, and I listened closely to all the people who came to speak at public engagement. And I want you to understand that, this board is really committed to helping vulnerable people and to using our limited resources in the smartest, most efficient way to do the most good. And not only does this board feel that way, that's how our staff feels. They are deeply aligned to the mission. So when you're listening to this conversation out into the community, I hope what you're hearing is in no way a breach of fidelity to the goal. In fact, what I hope you're hearing is a doubling down of trying to do the most good with our limited resources. And, Deputy County Manager Trotman, our County Manager Dina Diorio, who was, born a social worker in her professional career, our entire staff, they are equally deeply aligned as we are to try to do the most good. And so, I just want to be sure that everybody understands what our motives and intent are. Right. It is to find duplications or redundancies or efficiencies, because we don't have enough money to do all that needs to be done. And so we have to just be as smart as possible with the resources that we do have.
Thank you. Commissioner Dunlap.
To that end, Mr. Chairman, while I understand that people are asking a lot of questions about these organizations, I agree with Commissioner Altman in that this kind of discussion in public can tarnish the names of some of the organizations listed, and we in no way want to do that. So I don't know how to have this discussion without, as you say, bringing up the dirt. other than to either accept what the manager says or just reject it and say you want to do something different. But I don't feel comfortable continuing the discussion that's going to possibly, even with the community providers and other funders, tarnish the organizations that are listed here.
I respect that. I think that makes sense. I'm trying to balance that out, Commissioner, with trying to see if there is an organization that I'd like to make a motion to support moving forward as well. So I think what I really need to do is temper the way we address this. So I think that's fair, and I appreciate you raising that point. Let me go to Commissioner Leek.
I hear what you're saying, but if we're not producing and getting results, and we are charged with making sure that the money is utilized not on friendship, but what we think it ought to be, but what it is, and we value the manager's recommendation, I don't see us penalizing the community with tax increase programs that's not amenable to the public. And that's who we serve. And don't take it negatively. I'm just saying what I hear. Because if we're talking about providing and having funds in a crisis period that we're going to have because of the administration in Washington, we're going to have to be very careful about how we spend these funds. And I can't go to my people and say, we want you to increase your taxes, and we're not getting the results of what we're spending the money for. And I don't have anything against any of these agencies, but I have a real problem with us saying what we're going to do, and then we back out of what our charge is to make sure that the money is spent wisely. Because we could ask about some of the money traveling and what's being spent otherwise also, if we want to do that, but we're not going to get into that. So that's my thinking, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you, Commissioner. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Commissioner Griffin, go to Commissioner Townsend Ingram, and then there is one I'm going to make a motion on for sure. And I know Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell wants to address one as well, and Commissioner Meyer.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, I went to Amazon and gave each one of you guys a copy of something called results-based accountability. The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services embraced that when he's talking about social services programs. And I would hope that next year, because I certainly respect Commissioner Dunlap's comments about trying to do this in public, but I have no idea how to do it otherwise. But I hope we embrace a process next budget cycle earlier on so that we can see and respond to in a different manner. But clearly, if we can't, Ken Joyner said, we've shifted the burden from commercial to residents. And the managers indicated that the sales tax, or whatever the revenue might look about the same this year, we got to be more focused in terms of results. So I won't belabor it, Mr. Chairman, so I wish we could finish by 12 noon.
Maybe by 2. No, just kidding. Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
So, being the new tadpole, and I ran on the point of empathy because I've experienced a lot of the things that these services provide. And now I'm on the other side making decisions. And I always said that I never wanted to be one of those people who sit up high and make decisions about other people's lives, and you have no idea the impact. So I'm thinking about jobs when we cut these things, and I understand that. So I know how tight we got to get. I appreciate the staff and the pains that it took to go through every single thing. But I also agree with Commissioner Griffin when he says that, there's data that we need, not that we don't trust you, but we're making decisions about people's lives. Losing, funding means that they have to decide what to cut. And most of them really aren't that experienced about budgets. They know their craft, but they don't know about their budget. So my thought is this, is that, we take the best practices from this time moving forward with the next budget cycle, and, we just do the motion that Chair Jarrell offered with ramping them down.
So before I go to Commissioner Dunlap, this will be the last comment, and then I'll take motions. If you have a specific motion, I'll take it, and if we don't, then we're going to move on. So let me go to Commissioner Dunlap.
Well, I was going to say that I agree with Commissioner Griffin, but if you want to know the analysis, we got all that documentation in a document that told us why they were being cut. And if you read it, you could either accept that or ask questions that would refute what staff and the manager recommended. So it's not like we didn't get the information, it's like we're rehashing it in public.
Thank you. All right. Are there specific motions? Does somebody want to speak to something specific? Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I want to make my motion again that might have been lost before for Crisis Assistance Ministry getting $792,500 to restore or to keep the Financial Empowerment Program, which provides counseling along with funds. And so, in my view, we don't have something else that is taking that unique place of providing the counseling dollars along with the dollars for the services.
Okay. So there's a motion on the floor. I know there's some questions. I'm going to go with Commissioner Altman first.
Thank you, Madam Manager. And Mr. Trotman, if you can fact check me, my understanding is that Crisis Assistance Ministry, which is such a very important contributor to our ecosystem and safety net, is fully funded $2.2 million for other aspects of its operations through the county. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and in addition, yikes, sorry about that. And so the cut in question is for basically like a financial literacy program, which I think is really important. I think that those skills and that, that educational process can really make a huge difference in people's lives. I'm a huge proponent of it. But my understanding is that we are providing those services in-house through our community resource centers for much cheaper. And so we are delivering the service and the skill sets to the community, but just in a more economical fashion, which obviously allows us to do good work elsewhere. Is that true?
Yes, our social workers work with individuals in our Unified Workforce Development Program, as well as our other housing programs to provide financial support. Obviously, this program exists, so we do refer clients to this program as well as other programs to go, more in depth. But we do work with individuals to ensure that they stay housed or they stay employed to meet their basic needs.
Thank you. And is it also correct that 50% of the subset of 50% of the $792,000, which the manager did not recommend funding, is for administrative costs to Crisis?
Yes, 48% of the 792 is for staffing and overhead costs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to reiterate on that, the staffing, that is what it is. It's counseling, so that's why it's 48%, okay? This is not just turning out dollars, it's actual people providing counseling. That's why it has a high overhead. So just want to make sure we're clear about that.
Thank you. I'm going to go with Commissioner Leek, Commissioner Dunlap, and Townsend Ingram.
Thank you. As it relates to crisis assistance, was that farmed out at one time?
Farmed
That the county
out.
was not financing it, and we brought it in-house?
There was a portion of it, I think the utility assistance piece was what we brought back. Is that right, Anthony?
Yes, we brought back one program. They managed 3 programs in the past, and we brought back one program, the Crisis Intervention Program. And we provide that services with our staff that also provide Medicaid and SNAP benefits eligibility.
So it's being provided through other means?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So was that taken into consideration when you made your decision?
Yes, because that's, I think what Anthony was stating is that we already provide this service through the county, through our existing programs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner
Mr.
Dunlap.
Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I was trying to figure out if this is a part of your motion or if this is a separate motion, because this motion provides 100% of the funding.
Right.
As opposed to yours, which recommends 50%.
It's a separate motion. Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell wanted to do 100%, not 50.
Okay.
Yep. Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
I just want to, goes back to my point that I made a few minutes ago. We had a meeting with Deputy Manager Troutman yesterday, and a portion, yes, 48% does go to administrative, but a portion of that goes to rent assistance for 3 months. So it's almost like, okay, we're taking away that part, and we're going to be dealing with it somewhere else in the budget otherwise, if we take that portion away. So again, I think that it's critical that we look at not cutting anything that is going towards our priorities. And we're already talking about, I would support the 50% and ramping down, but we need to give the public some warning on the fact that we're no longer going to have you be able to have that crutch, that help, not crutch, but that help.
Thank you. Let me go back to Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell. Then we're going to vote the motion up or down and move on. Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The one last thing I want to say about this is that our eviction rates are skyrocketing in this county. And this program directly, the success rate is 100% at 215 people in the last cycle who had stayed within, who were able to be housed for 12 months after the program. So 100% success rate of keeping folks from becoming evicted. Okay, so I think that this is extremely important, that the financial counseling piece is part of it. And we don't have any, I asked Deputy County Manager Troutman yesterday if we had any data around the folks that we are putting through our financial counseling services that are at the CRCs, and we don't have any data for that. So for me, I'm very uncomfortable with cutting this amount of money at a time when eviction rates are higher than ever. So I ask for your support.
Thank you. Deputy County Manager Troutman.
It's not that we don't have data. I wasn't prepared to provide the data to you because we have several programs, and I would need time to gather that data from those several programs.
All right.
The other thing I just want to add on this too, the board funded $2 million in rental assistance through a Home for All, and that program, and Mrs. Hart is here, and she was on the committee, is being stood up now. So that's an additional $2 million into the system for emergency rental assistance that will help these same people.
It doesn't include the counseling piece. Just want to make sure everyone's
Well, we're
clear.
talking, well, I know, but Commissioner Townsend Ingram was talking about the emergency rental assistance piece, which is what I was referring to. So I just want to make it clear that there's plenty of money in the system. We also have $5.6 million in housing subsidy and support services, in community support services. So there are plenty of programs and opportunities for people to get the support that they need in this area. I just wanted to put that out there as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Altman?
Yeah, just a quick question. I care a lot about treating our partners with dignity and respect. And so I wonder, Madam Manager, can you just address the point around giving people notice to ramp down? When were folks first put on notice? When did they get official notice? What has been the lead up to this day in terms of notice to people who might have been depending upon this?
Well, we notified the organizations before I released my budget in May, so I think it was probably late April.
That's right. It was a couple weeks before, as soon as we knew that was going to be the recommendation.
Okay. All right, all those in favor of the motion that was
Can you say the
proposed?
motion out loud?
will you say your motion again, Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell?
Sure. My motion is to fully fund Crisis Assistance Ministries program on financial, what's it called?
Empowerment.
Financial empowerment, thank you, at $792,500
Through fund balance.
through fund balance.
All right, there's a motion. All those in favor of the motion, let's see by show of hands. All opposed? Okay, that motion fails. And to that end, I do want to make a motion. I would like to fund this program at 50% through fund balance, which would be $396,250.
Second.
Is that motion separate and apart from your group of
It
motions?
is separate and apart, yep.
Okay.
So all those in favor of the motion to, unreadiness, excuse me.
Thank you, sir. I just, Commissioner Leak had asked about the Senior Citizens Nutritional Program, and, we're funding it a slightly less amount, but that's because we're counting on federal dollars to come our way. And, I'm thinking about this, as I know we all are, as holistically as possible, but this money, for example, could be critical to plugging that hole. As I hear from Deputy Manager Trotman, there are so many sort of axes swinging from the federal government over critical services that we have. And so I will be voting no, again, not because I don't support the work, but I do trust in the county manager's office and the experts, the subject matter experts, to give guidance in this very tough budget cycle, how best to balance and allocate these precious dollars.
If I could, I just want.
So hold on one second. So colleagues, we debated, we've already debated this point, right? So, let's vote it up or down, but go ahead.
I just had a point of clarity.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Let me go to Adrian. I'll come to you and Commissioner Griffin.
So one thing I did want to point out, in terms of senior nutrition, we're not doing reductions to senior nutrition. The difference is just that there are other revenues, and there are always other revenues. So we don't have a reduction to senior nutrition built in the revenue budget.
Thank you. Let me go to Commissioner Townsend Ingram, then Commissioner Griffin.
Okay, I just want to make clear, so we voted down Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell's motion for the 100%, but I thought the second motion that we were going to entertain was for all of them to be ramped down at 50%.
Thank you for that clarification. First off, I would entertain a motion. I can't make the motion. So what I wanted to do, because crisis, I wanted to take crisis separate from the rest of this, right? We're going to continue to go down the list, but because crisis is a point of contention, I was trying to take it separate. So let me unring the bell on this.
So move, Mr. Jim.
Thank you, Commissioner Leak. So what Commissioner Leak is moving, just so that we're clear, is a motion to fund Crisis Assistance Ministry. The program is called
Financial empowerment.
Financial Empowerment
That's right.
at 50%, which would be $396,250. I'm coming to, give me 1 second. So that's the motion. Let me come to Commissioner Griffin and then Commissioner Meyer.
Commissioner Dunlap, I'm sorry, Chair Jarrell, just clarity. Is that also to expire within December?
Yes, thank you. And it would expire in December, December 31st. Yes.
Let me just speak. I was around when crisis started, so I'll just tell you how long I've been in this game. What I would ask is not the financial mobility counseling, but just dollars that go directly for eviction assistance. Is that different from the original motion?
Yes.
What did you say?
It is, because this program, this is a specific program.
Oh,
But, nothing stops you from making a substitute.
My support would go, the program originally started when the county was handing out money, and they moved over to crisis to do that role years ago. And it was simply cash assistance going out the door to folk. Didn't have all this other ribbons tied around it. And that's, I could support a reduced amount for cash assistance going directly. So I make a substitute motion. If we cut it in half, that it clearly be for rental assistance, meaning cash for people who are facing evictions or the utilities being cut off. These funds will be available to help those folks. In terms of another counseling program, I come back to my original statement. We got 40 different financial counseling programs. That's right. And it's very difficult for, I don't have a second, so I can't talk, okay?
No, you can. So we've got a substitute motion, it's going to require a second. Is there?
I will second that. If I understand, Commissioner Griffin, that your motion is for all of your resources to go towards direct.
Half that the
396.
396 go to cash assistance.
That's your motion?
Through the Crisis Assistance Ministry as opposed to counseling, et cetera.
I'll second that.
That would be something I could go for.
All right.
To December 31.
Can you just restate the motion?
I move that we authorize $396,000 to Crisis Assistance Ministry to end by December 31, 2025, for the sole purpose of providing cash assistance for rental assistance and utility costs.
From
Second.
balance.
Okay. Moved and seconded. And we have unreadiness. Let me go to Commissioner Meyer, Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell.
Okay, that's, and I understand where Commissioner Griffin's coming from, but we are giving people, or they are giving people rental assistance and also help so they don't get in this situation again. And that's what the counseling is. And so I don't support his motion. I just want to make that clear. And also, when you say expired in December, do you mean that all the money has to be spent by December, or that is earmarked and they know where that money's going?
I think everything ends, it's 6 months, it goes by December 31.
Spent.
This is a.
Spent.
Spent. This,
Okay.
it is real easy to spend that amount of money, as someone said on here, with the level of potential evictions going on here in Mecklenburg County. So I don't think there'll be any problem spending $396,000.
I just wanted to make it clear.
All right.
And also, I won't support this.
No, I got you.
All right,
No, no.
Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell.
Yeah, I really wanted to understand Commissioner Griffin's, usually he's all for helping people, like with the, not just handing out money. Like just handing out money doesn't prevent folks from being in the same situation again. And I just really wanted to understand, because this seems different from how you normally approach things. I mean, like, this program is not just any program, and it's 100%, people retaining housing for over 12 months. So could you just, I'm just not quite understanding your angle, because it just doesn't seem consistent with your normal.
I don't have any data in front of me in terms of saying what, 100% of these folk. I don't have that data in front of me.
Okay, I have it, but
Hold on.
I understand you don't
Hold
have
on.
it.
In terms of what pocket that success came from, I don't have, did it come just from county funding or just a collaboration of other funding?
1 second, let me go to George first.
I mean, I can give you 100%. I can take a subset of people who've gone to Legal Aid Society and say a subset of those is 100%. They prevented the evictions during the first court case, but subsequent court cases, they lost. Same individual. So I just don't see that, Susan. But as again, I certainly respect your perspective and your comments, and you're right. I'm looking for the full thing in terms of helping people. And I think cash assistance will absolutely help people when they come through that door. That was the original program for crisis assistance, and I can go for that.
So what we're going to do, we're not going to debate, we're going to let two final comments, and then we're going to vote on this. It's going to be Commissioner Dunlap, Commissioner Meyer, and then we're going to vote. So we'll have to make a decision. Commissioner Dunlap.
Well, Mr. Chair, I was just going to call for a point of order. I think when we started this discussion, it was not to question why one person would or would not support any particular
Exactly.
item, but simply to vote it up or vote it down based on the information that's been provided. So I would just ask that we get back to that.
Yep.
Call for the question.
I'll pass.
You're going to pass. Thank you. And thank you for that. So at this time, we have a substitute motion on the floor. It's been moved and seconded that, and restate the motion so everybody's clear on what.
That $396,000 be provided to Crisis Assistance Ministry to provide cash assistance to folk who come through the door who are being faced with evictions or the utilities being turned off, and that assistance of $396,000 would end on December 31, 2025.
All those in, go ahead, Madam
From
Clerk.
fund balance.
From fund balance, absolutely fund balance. I don't support the tax increase.
Just wanted to be part of the motion.
That's it.
Fund balance. There's no tax increase with fund balance.
Thank you.
The manager told me.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Hey, I think we should raise our
Should raise
hand.
our hand.
Yeah, we should.
Okay, how about we raise our hands? All right. All those in favor, let's see by show of hands. All those opposed to the motion, let's see by show of hands. Okay, so that motion actually fails. And so, since that motion fails, now we've got to revert back to the original motion.
Original motion.
Right, and the original motion, can you remind us what the original motion was?
$396,250 to fund crisis assistance ministry through fund balance, half of what was cut, for
Financial empowerment.
financial empowerment.
Okay. All those in favor of the original motion, let's see by show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so all those opposed, to get it on the record. All right, now that motion carries.
Right.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
David Boyd wanted to do a clarity on the answer he gave you about the fund balance. So
Okay.
before you continue on with fund balance
Yeah.
appropriations, I want to give him that opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, so math there, I didn't interpret Adrian's chart correctly. So with the recommendation on use of fund balance right now, we're at 32%, not 30.2%.
Perfect. Thank you. So there's a little bit of wiggle room. Thank you. Are there any other motions that anyone wants to make with respect to fund balance appropriations? Those of you that have the list that I gave you earlier today, you have Community Culinary School of Charlotte, you have Prospera. I think the manager spoke to Rain. We have Reed Charlotte, Discovery Place, Catawba Land Conservancy, and Historic Rural Hill. I'll recognize Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
So again, I'm going to have to ask the question. This would be like a contingency motion. If we do have a property increase vote, yes, on that, supporting the homes program to increase it, or I don't know if there is a question of whether we would have to increase that balance that's there, or does it stay the same out of fund balance in order to offset the people that are at 80% AMI? So that's my question.
Adrian?
So for the homes program, it was originally funded with fund balance, and since that time, we've been utilizing that and carrying it forward, which means after the budget gets adopted, the board takes an action to take the unused fund balance and appropriate it. We've accounted for that in what we've shown you in terms of fund balance. We're expecting to carry forward, what's the amount line?
We can't hear you, Lyle.
4.2.
4.2 million, thank you. Yeah, we're going to carry forward 4.2 million in homes funding to continue the program.
And so if for some reason, and I understand that the program is underutilized right now, but we're in a new era, if for some reason during this fiscal year that proves to not be enough, would we be able to appropriate more?
At any time.
So that's right. At any time, you can appropriate fund balance.
Okay, good.
And certainly, I know that DCR and their team keep you all abreast of how the homes program is trending.
Yep.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dunlap.
Okay, well, my fault, maybe all of our fault, because we should have asked the question that we just got the response to earlier. So now we know that there's an additional 4.2 million going into fund balance. But I want to go back to Yvette's point, and it's something that I support. So what she's talking about is the fact that this 0.97, whatever it is, increase is going to have more of a significant impact on those people who are already struggling in terms of taxes. And so if I understand it, Yvette, what you're asking is, to what degree can we increase the threshold to absorb the amount the taxes are going to impact those people?
So first off, just point of clarity, because I don't think I was real clear when I was talking about the fund balance. When we calculated your estimated fund balance at the end of the fiscal year and what's available, we have already assumed that the unspent homes funding would come out of that and be appropriated. So there's not an additional $4 million that's going to go to your fund balance. In terms of the program design, I could ask DCR or Anthony if they want to speak to the program design, but I don't know of any changes.
But let me say one thing, and I'm sorry, George, give me 1 second. Yvette, I think what you're trying to figure out if we can change the allocation.
Right.
The grant amount, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, and that is within, that's up to the board to be able to direct that. We get a recommendation, but, I mean, we certainly could make a vote on that.
So do we need to make that decision today? Because that's important.
Right, that was the
That's
initial
the
question.
second.
You don't need to make that, because they're going to do the program design, and they'll come back and report to you what they're going to be proposing. So no, not today.
Gotcha.
Yolanda, did you want to add something?
No, I just wanted to clarify what Dina just stated. The same way that we were able to increase the percentage last year, we evaluated previously it was 25% allocation, and it went up to 35% last year. So that is a decision that we can look at. It does impact the number of people that we'll be able to serve. So generally, we'll do an analysis to determine if the amount went up, and based on past years of amount of applications that we've received and approved, how many people could get approved based on the amount of money that we have available.
Thank you. And two additional points on the homes program. Number one, the city is not participating this year, but the town of Davidson is still participating?
Yes, and I believe the town of Matthews has also expressed some interest in standing up their own program. I think, Yolanda, no?
Yes, they have expressed an interest. Right now, they're evaluating data, and that's specifically Matthews. Davidson is continuing this year.
And so last year, I think, if my memory serves me correct, we served about 5,000 plus families through that program. So we probably anticipate going a little bit north of that, correct?
That's correct. Last year, we approved 5,429 applications. And generally, each year, we do increase the number.
Yeah, 1 second. Commissioner Meyer.
Just a point of clarification, are we on this list or have we jumped to a completely different? I'm confused, I'm
No,
sorry.
she had a question about the homes program, so it has nothing to do with this list, but I do think it's a good discussion because she's trying to tie it into
Which is fine.
the
I just
impact
was-
of taxes.
Let's
No,
see what it
it's not part of that. So, Dina, we did have a question. Do we know why the city of Charlotte decided not to participate?
My understanding is that they were using ARPA dollars to
Okay.
participate in the program, and the ARPA dollars have been depleted.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. All right, to Commissioner Meyer's point, let's get back to the list.
Thank you. Thank you.
But thank you, Commissioner Townsend Ingram, because I do think that's important, and for the community to really understand that we are trying to look at how to absorb, how folks can be the least impacted with respect to, our most vulnerable being least impacted with respect to the decisions that we have to make. So you all have gone down the rest of the list. One One area that I'd like to advocate for is Community Culinary School of Charlotte. I did speak to the manager in full transparency, again, and certainly respect where she and staff are coming from. That is a program, though, that I just want to advocate for them to continue to receive a level of funding, help them ramp down, and I'm hoping I can get someone to support providing a level of support for them through December 31st.
So moved.
Can you give us an amount, Commissioner?
The recommended amount.
The full 140, or do you want to
No,
do the 70?
70.
70,000?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, so with respect to the motion for Charlotte, Community Culinary School of Charlotte for 70,000, which would be half of the amount they received previously. Is there any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor, let's see by show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Motion carries. Thank you. Anything else on this list that somebody wants to address? Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell and Commissioner Meyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy, I would like to make a motion to support them at $258,000.
Okay.
Which one did she say?
Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy, to support them for $258,000. Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
Point of clarity, is that the one that we discussed about the court reduction that they changed the positions category?
No.
Is that the same one? Okay.
That one failed.
Okay.
Let me go to Commissioner Meyer first, and I'm coming back.
I know I have something else.
Okay, Commissioner Altman.
Thank you. Once again, loving an organization and deeply believing in their mission, but also wanting to understand why the manager's office made this recommendation so that we can continue to use our resources as widely as possible.
So the program performance has been continuing to decline over the years. In fiscal year '23, served 254 people out of the 480 they were supposed to, and they only met 2 out of the 11 output measures in 2023, and 1 of 11 output measures in 2024. This is a true performance issue.
A true performance issue. And what is the program in question? Because they do a lot of different kinds of services.
Do you have the details?
Yes, I do. So we're on Charlotte Center of Legal Advocacy.
That's correct.
So I had to step away. So there are 3 different programs. The 2 programs that are proposed for reduction, this is legal support tied to domestic violence and veteran services. And again, the DV program, they serve 28 clients out of 130 target. Then for the Veteran Services Program, serve 226 out of 350 target.
Okay, so let's never confuse like domestic violence support, veteran support. Let's not confuse the importance of these groups that we need to support with the efficacy of a given program and serving them. We don't serve people when the program isn't meeting metrics. So I will support the manager's recommendation on this, but I want to encourage community members and this wonderful service provider to come back in the future when there's a program that's a little more efficacious, because this is something I deeply believe in, and I know all of my colleagues do.
I'm not going to support it.
All right, Commissioner Dunlap.
I want to make it clear, it's really not about the money, because the money is really insignificant, but it's about being consistent. And I was one of those people who raised my hand, who told the manager that I would accept what she proposed. I thought the process was thorough. I think they did exactly what we asked. So I just want everybody to understand that I had given consideration to some changes, but then it would be picking winners and losers. So I'm just going to be consistent and support what I had originally said. With that being said, for those of you who support this program, just know that they did change the leadership of that organization, which I think was probably one of the issues that resulted in some of this performance.
Thank you. All right. So all those in favor of the motion proposed by Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell, let's see by show of hands.
What was the motion?
You got.
What was the motion?
Restate the motion, please, for us.
Okay. Oh,
Or you can do it, Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell. please.
okay. I wanted to, my motion is to support Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy for the $258,000 that was cut
Okay.
for the domestic violence and veteran services support
Through fund balance.
through fund balance.
For
For 4 years.
December 31st, 2025.
I don't love that part, but I'm fine with it.
You don't have
So
to do
the
that.
motion is clear. Is it for the 6 month ending in December, or is it for the full year?
For the full year. If someone wants to make a substitute motion, if this motion fails, I would certainly vote for that, but I'm hoping that this one passes.
All right, so the motion's on the floor. All those in favor, let's see by show of hands. 1, 2. All opposed, let's see by show of hands. All right, that motion fails. The chair will recognize Commissioner Meyer.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to support Prospera, North Carolina at the $37,500, which is half of the requested amount. Prospera is organization that helps the Hispanic community in entrepreneurship, and if there's ever a time for us to support that community in our county right now, this is the time.
Which one is that?
This is
Prospera, North Carolina.
Prospera, North Carolina.
I see it.
Okay, can you tell us if you're going through to December 31st? Is it
That's fine.
for,
I don't like that part either, but sure. I'm fine with that.
okay, and from fund balance?
From fund balance.
Okay. Commissioner Altman.
Again, really appreciate the work of Prospera and recognize the need in the community, but again, the question is efficacy with limited resources. Madam Manager, can you speak to why you made this recommendation?
Sure. The program did not achieve key outcome objectives in fiscal year '24, including clients starting businesses, creating jobs, or accessing capital.
Okay, Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have some background information on this, that the goals that were in the actual contract were met, but there is a misunderstanding on which goals are being talked about. So I believe if we went back to the contracts, we would see that they were meeting the goals. So I'm going to be supporting this motion. I think they have actually surpassed what the goals of the contract were.
Okay. Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
Another clarifying question. What is the distinction with the 6 month? I'm still stuck on that.
Well,
So December 31st.
Thank you. What I was trying to accomplish with trying to end it at the end of the calendar year was to, number one, make it clear that we are talking about one-time funding. The second part is to make sure that we are not taking these same matters up moving forward into the next budget cycle. Like, we have to put an end to it at some point. This gives people an opportunity to ramp down, make whatever adjustments they need to make up that gap. So December 31st is the cutoff. Everybody's clear on what that off-ramp is.
So does that mean if the money is not encumbered by December 31st, then we take it back? Or does that mean?
The money should be used by December 31st.
Okay.
It should be used by December 31st.
Okay.
No, Madam Manager?
No, I guess I was just going to say, I believe that these contracts are reimbursement-based. Is that correct, or not?
Yes, so these are reimbursed. They
So
have to actually spend.
they have to spend the money and then get reimbursed. And so the expectation is if they don't spend it by December 31st, they don't get the rest of it.
Understood. You know what, that was going to be my second question, dealing with private grants versus state government. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And I will point out, and we can go back through at the end, but I don't believe with Community Culinary School that the motion included specifically December 31st.
December 31st. I'm sorry. Do we need to, we want to
That was the
redo
motion.
that one?
I made the motion.
It did.
It did? Okay.
Yeah.
We need to make sure.
Yeah, I do. I would rather leave it.
I made the motion, Don.
Yes, ma'am, but there was specifics around it. You want to advise us, Mr. Attorney?
No, it did. It did.
We're okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
To your point. All right. So we do have a motion on the floor with respect to Prospera. I think we captured it correctly. All those in favor of the motion, let's see by show of hands. 1, 2, 3. All right. All those opposed, just for the record. All right, that motion fails. All right. Are there any other items that folks want to look at with respect to fund balance appropriation? Commissioner Meyer.
Does it have to be from your?
No. It's up to you.
I'd like to make a motion from fund balance, to give Roof Above $160,000 for the Giles Center. And I totally heard what our manager said. I respect what she said about the ARPA funds. As we are also going through some cuts from the federal government, we don't know what's happening. We still don't know what's happening with funds from the federal government. So are our residents. They are also being affected, and they don't know what's coming either. And so the Giles Center it's taking care of our most vulnerable citizens. And I firmly believe that we should continue as a county to support this program, even into the future. But that's something for another day. This is coming from fund balance, so it's one time. I just want to make that clear. And I don't know if I should put the 6 month, because I don't know enough information for that.
You make the whatever motion that you would rather.
Right.
So you're not putting a 6 month.
I'm not.
Okay, that's fine. Is there any unready? Commissioner Powell.
So on other parts of the budget, there was an extension of ARPA funding, like for Hearts for the Invisible doing such great work, and for Roof Above doing such great work, and knowing that the ARPA funding was going to end still puts a burden on them for that $165,000. So I completely understand what Commissioner Meyer is saying. I'd just like to hear maybe a little bit more from you, Dina.
So there were two that we actually gave them ARPA money to get, our fund balance to get them through the end of the year. One was Hearts for the Invisible, and the other was Caring for Nurse Family Partnership. And there are two reasons for that. One, Caring actually has a sustainability plan. They're going to start to accept Medicaid. So they are taking steps to be able to make themselves more financially independent, which is what we asked them to do. Hearts for the Invisible has incredibly strong performance, but they're also a very small grassroots organization. So their ability to do a long-term sustainability plan is something they're working on. They're not there yet. Roof Above, we fund to the tune of $5.4 million a year. Roof Above gets significant funding from the county, and they should be able to find a way to get $160,000 to keep the Giles Center open. Very different situations all around. And the fact that they represented something to you that was not accurate is another situation altogether. But that's the reason why we did not recommend the funding for Roof Above.
So in the future, if there's again, nothing from keeping them from coming to us in the future saying that we need this $160,000.
That's correct. They can come anytime.
All right, thank you.
Other questions or comments? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of the motion proposed by Commissioner Meyer, let's see by show of hands. All those opposed to the motion, let's see by show of hands. Okay, that motion fails. Any additional motions to be made? Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to make a motion to fund RAIN at $36,277.50.
Okay.
Coming from fund balance.
Chair on readiness. Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion proposed by Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell, let's see by show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All opposed, for the record. 1, 2, 3, 4. That motion passes. Any other motions?
Reed Charlotte.
You're making a motion to do what?
To follow the manager's recommendation.
The manager's actually recommending to cut Reed Charlotte.
I see it.
Okay. So we don't need to take, so you just,
Okay.
you wanted to accept the manager's recommendation?
Yes.
So that, we don't need to take a motion on that.
Thank you.
Any other motions? Yes, Commissioner Dunlap.
I offer a motion that we adopt a resolution as been amended, and we ask staff to prepare a budget resolution to be adopted by the board.
Okay, there's a motion that doesn't need a second. Is there any unreadiness?
What was his motion again? I didn't hear it.
Will you restate your motion, please, Commissioner Dunlap?
I can't remember.
It's essentially to adopt, essentially it's to adopt the budget.
Adopt the budget has been
As
amended
amended.
today, and to ask staff to prepare the budget resolution.
And give us 1 second on that. Get ready to say Commissioner Clerk. Christine.
Can we get clarification on rain if it's December 31st, 2025, or just the year in general?
My motion doesn't include the December thing.
I didn't have it, but they want a clarification. Okay.
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 All right, so Commissioner Dunlap has offered a motion. Is there unreadiness? I'm sorry?
Does that
The
remove?
motion
all-
was to adopt the budget as amended. And,
Question.
okay, hold on 1 second. Commissioner Griffin.
Yeah, Tyrone, legal aid is in all of the presentation, not just this. We said adopt the budget.
Speaking to the.
Legal aid, legal aid of North Carolina is in.
That will be when you meet on the 3rd.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, thank you. No problem.
Okay.
My question is, does this eradicate what we've already done? That motion?
This motion is, it takes into consideration all of the adjustments that we made, plus what the manager's already done.
Thank you.
Okay, and then let me go to Commissioner Powell, then Commissioner Dunlap.
So can David tell us where we are now?
Absolutely, and while he's doing that, let me go to Commissioner Dunlap, and then we'll come back to that question.
I just wanted to make it clear to everybody that this motion includes the entire budget, which is any fees and adjustment from park and recreation, stormwater, all of that is a part of the adoption.
Thank you. David?
Yeah, so with the 502,000 that you used, that puts us at 31.97%.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Griffin.
Yeah, just the clarification, Mr. Dunlap raised got my attention. I certainly support it at this point, but not the tax increase, so that'll come.
You just vote no.
This is included.
I just vote no.
That was included, that will be included.
That was included, oh,
Yeah,
no.
that will be included.
How do I gotta do something other than that. The tax increase I don't support.
You have to vote no for the budget.
For the budget.
No, for the.
You have to vote no. So people that are not supporting the tax increase, you got to vote no.
Consistent with last year.
Yeah, I voted for everything the last 2 years.
All right, so we've got a motion. Are there any other, is there unreadiness? Commissioner Powell.
So I think it's really important to talk about, before we vote on this, how, difficult it is. And even Dina talked about it when she did the budget recommendations. Nobody came into this job wanting to have a tax increase. So Commissioner Griffin doesn't want a tax increase. I don't either. I don't want a tax increase, but the need is there. And
Give me 1 second, George. I got you.
the need is there. So I just think it's important to say that, like, the need is demonstrated. Dina didn't want her last budget to have a tax increase. But the needs are real, and the burden that the state puts on us is huge. And so I was hoping that Adrian would have that slide today, showing how much we fund that the state should be funding.
So that is included in your packet. I'll have to find the page because we sent those out earlier this week.
It was to the tune of $400 million.
Over 400 million, yes.
Yes.
Well, it would be nice to have the slide up there for the whole world to see.
It's on page 5 in your handouts. If you look at this handout, because this is the responses to all the questions, that we've received.
Give me 1 second.
On page 5, we kind of listed out all the things that we viewed as being responsibilities that the county is helping offset that the state would help us with.
So colleagues, let me say this, and I'm going to come back to you in just 1 second. Let me just make sure everybody's clear. I understand how difficult this decision is for some of us, and we do need to clarify. We need to take a vote. My intention is to allow everyone to provide a level of comment before we leave so that there is no question on where you stand or the why. And so we certainly want to make sure that everybody will have that opportunity, and I'm going to make sure that we have that opportunity. And so with that being said, go ahead, Commissioner Powell, then I want to come to Dr. Johnson, and then Commissioner Dunlap.
I just think it's really important, even before we vote, to say that we are funding unfunded mandates of the state to almost $485 million. Annual, every single year.
Yep.
And it's broken down on this sheet. And I wish the slide was like, we could hand it out to everyone so that, the whole world could see this. It's really important when people talk about Mecklenburg County being so reckless with the tax rate, because we're not. We're not reckless. We're very responsible. But these are things that have to be funded, and we can't wait. How do you wait on that? So those are my comments for now, but I wanted this slide to be highlighted. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for that. I think that is that's a really important distinction, and we'll be addressing that. Let me come to Dr. Johnson, then Commissioner Dunlap.
It's still morning. Good morning, and thank you for taking my question. This question is really a Tyrone legal clarification. I believe Commissioner Dunlap's motion stated to adopt the budget, and I don't think you are adopting the budget at this time. You're
right.
directing staff to establish a budget ordinance aligned to blah, 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 blah. But Tyrone can be able to jump in legally.
That part.
It's kind of.
I had asked him to do it. We just didn't get it done.
So Tyrone,
I was typing it as he used it. He used the term resolution, but it is to direct the budget ordinance be prepared for the next meeting on the 3rd.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Johnson, for that. So let me come to Commissioner Dunlap, because I think that's where you were going.
That's exactly where I was going. So get it straight, that we don't officially adopt our budget until Tuesday. And so that would be the appropriate time to make whatever comments you would want to make about the budget. And I think it's also fair if, as a part of our budget adoption, the document that Elaine referred to is presented to the public at that time.
Thank you for that. Let me go with Commissioner Griffin, then Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond in terms of my comments about a tax increase. This is my 3rd budget, and this is the 3rd time I've asked for SMART goals. And the reason why I asked for SMART goals, when I first got on the board, there were 5 budget priorities, I think 6 with the cross-cutting piece to reduce or eliminate racial disparities. And what I'm looking for is specific outcomes in terms of the outcomes for each of those priorities. For me, most of you know education is really important, and our budget priority indicates college ready and career readiness. And we're not there yet. And so it concerns me that there isn't a SMART goal for me by the board, not the administration, because Dean has been extraordinarily clear about she manages the staff and policy as our area. But, we don't have a goal, and I've been trying to get at least a goal for each one of those budget priorities so that we can feel better about that. I wish that there were more, and I think what we just demonstrated in terms of, you could say winners and losers, is we really need more information about the impact and results consistently so that we can make a reasonable decision without the implications and suggestions that someone got more information than the other person. And I didn't I didn't say a lot about the education budget and some of the other specific things that I have real problems with. But when you look at, when I came on board, we had the reval, and notwithstanding we lowered the tax rate, people's property values and taxes went up. If we do all the things that we've said since last year, our capital tax will go up for things that we want to pay for as a county. The $2.5 billion school bond tax is going to go up. Potentially, the transit tax is out there on the ballot. And I'd feel much more comfortable by being able to say with a straight face, here's what we said was going to happen with this agency, nonprofit or internal. Here's the results. And that would help the public, I think, as it relates to whatever burden we're picking up from the state, feel comfortable that the return on the return on our investment, tax investment, is something that all of us could embrace, or most of the folk can embrace. Reval is coming up in 27 and 28, and just the cost of doing business is going to be increased. So I wish we could come up with smart goals, at least in some of those areas, so that we can go to the public and really present a solid case for why we need to pay whatever we're paying from the state until we can get the state of North Carolina to do what it's statutorily supposed to do. And that's just how I feel. Taxes are really onerous for folk. There are senior citizens that don't know how to navigate, and I hope that the Homes program will have some navigators to help some of the senior citizens navigate how to apply for those programs, the reduction in taxes. But a lot of folk just really missed the boat, and I hate that the city is not participating. And I'm encouraged that the opportunity presents itself for us to figure out how to increase the opportunity in the Homes program for folk. But just sitting here, and from the 3 years that I've been on here, we need to do a better job in terms of results-based accountability. And I don't cast any dispersions on any of the members on this board. That's just how I feel as an individual. I respect you, from Elaine to Laura to Susan to George to Lee, Mark, Vilma, and Yvette. But that is something that really concerns me, is that the population of poor people is growing, and we're certainly not going to be able to do it by taxing our way out of this problem. We got to do something to help people not only sustain their existence, but also be able to compete as this county grows and the city grows. So I wanted to say that. I'll say that again. But we just can't tax our way out of this problem.
Thank you. Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to piggyback on Commissioner Powell's request for the slide when we do the actual vote on the budget. If you could also include how many actual cents, like I did the math and it came out to like 16 cents of our 49.27. If I'm reading, I can't read that far away. But I'm not that great at math, but I got 16 cents. That's what we could take off of our property tax if it weren't for the gaps that we're filling for the state. So that's number one. And then number two, could you also provide where we fall in the state as far as 100 counties, what number are we in property tax rate?
Right, so for the fiscal year 2025, we were the 19th lowest out of 100 counties.
So I'm just asking, when you make that beautiful slide, it's going to have that information. If you could include that, I sure would appreciate it.
Thank you, because I think what the board is driving to, and again, on, during the meeting when we adopt it, everyone's going to get time and runway to be able to speak to their concerns and the whys. But I am glad that people are teeing up the things that we want to make sure get out to the public. And I also think that this is an opportunity for us to work, for myself anyway, on your behalf, to work with PI to make sure that this information is put out front and center, and that people really understand what we're dealing with and what we have done. I mean, $498 million is nothing to sneeze at. And that's a significant amount coming out. And you think about what we could potentially do with that on a yearly basis. So I want to thank you all for bringing those things up. The other thing is, I do want to address Commissioner Griffin's point about the SMART goals. One of the things, and just to remind everyone, we have not abandoned that. Director Griswold is working and will be presenting something to us. And I'll just keep in mind that, when we get that, we can go back and forth about trying to make it perfect and, this and that, but we're starting somewhere. And so, Mr. Director, that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. So to your point, and again, you've gone through this 3 years, but it won't be 4 years without a start to SMART goals. How about that?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Question.
Commissioner Leek.
I want to make sure I'm clear on our vote. If we vote for the budget, we're voting for an increase. Am I right?
So
Are we
this vote,
separated? Are we going to say we're going to vote to raise taxes or not raise taxes?
this
People are
is,
asking me that.
this vote is to direct staff to adopt the resolution with all the amendments that we've made for the budget. So this is, go ahead, Adrian, I'm sorry.
So the budget ordinance would total to $2,542,319,642, and it would have a tax rate of 49.27. Those things are together. You can't have a balanced ordinance if you don't have a tax rate of 49.27.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, did you want to add anything?
I need to make sure, are you saying if I vote for the budget, I'm voting for an increase in taxes?
As we have it here, yes, that is correct.
So how do I say to my people, we're not supporting the taxes, because that's what they've said to me?
Well, what I'm trying to do, Commissioner Lee.
Help me to.
No, and that's a fair question. And one of the things that I've been trying to do, because I know that board members, all of us have consternation about a tax increase. So I was giving people opportunity. You'll have an opportunity if you wanted to say something now, but on Tuesday, you'll have an additional opportunity. Everyone will have an additional opportunity to speak directly to your constituents, to the community, and for everyone to understand exactly what you're doing and why. But you've got to take a position. It's either yes or no on the position. It can't be, if I'm hearing you right, it cannot be bifurcated. It is going to be a yes or a no for the budget.
And that makes it clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir.
Who had their hand up on this side? Commissioner Dunlap.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The more we talk about this, the more I think about what we ought to include in Tuesday's meeting. We've already discussed it, but with the changes we've made here today, I think it will also be important that we reproduce, publicize what that impact will actually be. I think on was it a $200,000 home, it was 3 cents? What was it?
$3 a month.
On the 300, I think that was a $300,000 home, and then we had a 377, I believe. It was like $31 a year.
So on a median home, the median value is $377,000. The increase, of course, the increase in the rate is 0.96. The increase would be $36.19 a year. The monthly increase is $3.02.
Can we restate that again on Tuesday?
Can you add in, Adrian, what is that, with the Homes grant, though, it's $1.90 or $1.80 with the Homes grant?
So with the Homes grant, so for a property valued at $377,000 again. The annual taxes with the Homes grant, once you net out that Homes grant, would be $23.64, and that would be monthly $1.97.
Right.
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 Well, wait a minute.
Thank you.
Can you also do, revenue neutral was at 44 cents?
We can only do revenue neutral during
Hold up.
reevaluation. Oh, sorry.
Hold up. Also give me some data in terms of revenue neutral in whatever year, 2023. I think it was 44 cents point something. You did the 2.88% inflation increase and got to 45 cents or something like that. But start at 44 cents. And are you able to include the capital increase for the county as well as the projected tax increase for capital for the county as well as school?
Yes, thank you.
In terms of what that rate would be in 2028? Or do I need to do that?
So we can go back and take a look and see.
Okay, so I can say what that rate is and percent increase also.
All right, team, this is what we're going to do. There's going to be 1,000 requests. At this point, BOCC all your requests of what we would like to try to get on Tuesday, because I think all this is valuable, it's needed. At this time, there is a motion on the floor that was proposed by Commissioner Dunlap. Is everybody clear on what that motion is, or do we need to restate it?
Restate it.
Restate that motion for us, Madam Clerk, please.
I'm going to adopt the, I'm sorry. I've got so many notes.
I think it's to direct
To
the,
adopt the budget and direct staff to create a budget ordinance.
To be presented
right.
at the June 3rd meeting for adoption by the board.
thank you.
Did I say as amended?
You didn't say as
Okay.
amended, but as amended.
As amended.
Okay. All right, we've already had discussion. All those in favor of the motion, let's see by show of hands.
Yeah, that's the
One, two.
caveat with the tax thing for Tuesday. Is that right?
This is the adoption to move it to June 3rd.
Move it to June
Move
3rd.
it to June
We ain't voting on the increase yet, Mr.
Yes.
Griffin.
All right, okay.
Thank you.
All right, all opposed?
Okay,
All opposed?
as long as we can get, I got to do that too?
Yeah, well, it's a motion, so
You either vote for.
you got to vote for it or against it.
Oh, I'm against the tax increase.
Okay, Commissioner Leek, you didn't vote.
I'm against the tax increase.
Okay. So
But
they're
I do
against,
know
there's
this,
two
that
against.
We can't do the service unless we have the
7-2,
money.
Madam Clerk, 7-2.
But, Mr. Chair, I think it's really fair that they understand what we're actually voting on. And we're simply voting to move the resolution to Tuesday's vote when they will actually be voting the way they say they were going
But
to.
I think that's what the attorney was saying, so I think they were,
Well, they said they were voting no because they wasn't voting for an increase.
Well, just tell me how I'm supposed to vote, Mr. Attorney.
do you want to move it, thank you, Commissioner Dunlap. Do you want to move it forward, or you want to move this forward to Tuesday?
I want to move it forward to Tuesday, yes.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
you're
But
changing
then we
your vote.
didn't, I thought we were going to do that
So you're
anyway.
voting yes?
I'm moving it forward to Tuesday, so I'm voting yes for that.
Yeah.
Are you
but
voting
we
yes?
do.
So that's unanimous, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioner Dunlap.
But I'm
That's unanimous, Madam Clerk. We good? All right.
moving it forward to Tuesday.
All right. All right. Adrian, do you have anything else for us, sir?
I do not.
You do not. All right. With that being said,
Move to adjourn.
there's a motion to move to adjourn. It's been seconded. Is there any unreadiness? Hearing none. Well, I have an unreadiness. I'm sorry, everybody. Today is the last time that we will see County Manager Dina Diorio in this particular setting as the county manager. And I do want to recognize you. I do want to say thank you to you, Madam Manager,
Thank you.
for all of your hard work. We really appreciate that. It's another wonderful job. And we also have to take this opportunity to thank all of our staff for the hard work that went into this budget. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we thank you for this work. So we're not going to leave without saying that. And to the audio, visual, and the production crew, thank you guys back there too. Yep. All right, and there's also lunch out here. All those in favor to adjourn, let's go by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Ayes have it, meeting adjourned.
All righty.
Dina.